Morning, everybody.
Morning, Rabbi.
This week's parsha is Parshas Tzav. So there's a story that will kind of serve as an introduction to what we're going to say. The fourth Chabad Rebbe was Reb Shmuel. He was called the Maharash. And he would, like all other Rebbes, he would see people. People would come to him to ask blessings, advice, ways to fix things that they have done maybe not so good in the past. All the issues. You would come and you would have a private audience with the Rebbe. So for the Rebbe Maharash, many times, he would sweat to the point that he would have to stop the Yechidah, stop the private audiences, and go and change his clothing and come back. So he was asked, what is it that you're sweating so much that all of a sudden, while you're talking to people, mitamal, you could be davening for hours, you're okay. And then when you're receiving people, all of a sudden you're sweating. So he says, let me explain to you. When I receive somebody, I listen to his story and I put on his garments to understand where he's coming from. To understand, I dress myself into his world, into his spiritual element, his level. And then I get the picture. Then I have to go back into my space and figure out what to tell him. Then I have to go back in his space and explain it to him. Make sure he understands it. So, going back and forth, it takes a lot of effort. A person can sweat. So this is something that is a very interesting story that we can learn from this. Many things. But the way it connects to this week's parsha, then this week's parsha describes, there's a pasuk of Fashat as Begadov. The Kohen takes off his garments. The Lavash Begadim Acherim puts on other garments. And he takes out the sacrifice, the spices, whatever he did in the plate. He takes it outside. So Rashi explains, why does he have to change his clothing? Since in May he's dealing with burnt spices, and it might make him dirty if it touches it or it shakes it. So therefore, the Torah gives him advice. They should change his garments. Don't wear the actual royal garments. You can wear a little bit of a simpler garment to be able to deal with it. Meaning to say, the Torah is also teaching you derech eretz, that when you come and you give somebody a meal, don't give it to him necessarily in the same clothes that you prepared it. If you got all dirty, today a chef, it's a badge of honor, but at the same time, there's ways of how to present things. When it comes to a person serving Hashem, you have to have certain garments. You dress yourself in a certain place, in a certain zone. This is where you are. Then, while you're there, you should be there. Now, there's also other callings in life. There's to help somebody else. When you're helping somebody else, you should also dress up the garment that you need to be able to help that person. Not say, oh, listen, I can't do that. I'm wearing right now a tuxedo. Right now I'm busy. I can't. You know what? Change your clothes. Change your garment. Change your mindset. Change your space where you find yourself and help that person. And while you're helping that person, make sure you're wearing those garments. You're actually there. You're actually there. There are certain people that they say, you know what? This doesn't fit. This is not. I deal with the big issues, but with the small issues, that's for somebody else. Somebody comes to you and dealing with a small issue and you can help him. You change those clothing. And, you don't have to be the captain right now. You could be the regular sailor, and you could help this person. So this is something that we learn to be able to change garments, but not only to change the garments, but while you're there, to really be there. Don't be looking outside. When you're there, really be there with that person. Help that person, whatever avodah, whatever mitzvah you're doing. At that time that you're doing the mitzvah, at that time when you're doing that avodah, that service to Hashem, you have to be present. You have to be there. You have to be wearing those clothing. Hashem should help. We should be inspired. We should do our job, and we should be zeicha to the building of the third Beis Hamikdash. We'll have the kohen. You'll get to see these clothing. You get to see those clothing. It'll be good. B'karav mamish. Amen.